Friends in YouTube land, once in a while, I reach out to someone that I'm very impressed with their YouTube channel. And tonight, that's a guy named Ed Ricker, and this is Ed here, of course. Those of you, I first heard of Ed when some people started saying, hey, your channel and Ed's are sort of the same. I came from Ed's channel to yours, or your channel to Ed's, and that kind of thing. And I started saying, well, who is this guy, Ed Ricker? And so I go there and I check it out. And let me tell you, so I'm going to look off screen here for a second because I've made some notes about why did I reach out to Ed. Well, these are just some nice things I'm going to say about Ed's channel. First of all, Ed is the kind of guy that does things the right way. I am notorious for doing things the wrong way. I mean, I'm sorry I half-ass do things. My bad. Forgive me for that. Ed does things full-assed. No, Ed does a great job. Top quality video, stunning scenery, unique perspectives and angles, a gorgeous color. The guy understands color, and I'm just fascinated watching his video. Really great editing, solid, interesting content. He has lots of good tips for videography and lots of other stuff too, good product reviews and all. Tasteful humor. I like the way Ed uses humor in his videos. It has a good blend of topics and variety, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. You know, he has very, very consistent postings. See, like me, sometimes I'll go a week and a half and I don't post and I'm letting people down. But Ed is always there and he's like putting out some fantastic stuff. It's well written. It's well planned. It's clear that it is. It's delivered very well. Ed's an excellent communicator and the dude looks nice. He looks professional. Me, I'm liable to come on here half shaven and with my hair sticking out to the side after taking a nap. But Ed is always spot on. He brings his A game. And that's what I like about Ed Ricker. Ed, I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
Well, thank you so much, Tony, and I appreciate you having this conversation with me. This is awesome. And actually, I know about Tony from YouTube as well, from previously, before we both owned a Mavic Pro. I actually saw Tony's first video that I saw walking around UNCP's campus with a GoPro back in 2013, I think. And it was like one of those ghost town situations because it was, I guess, when class was out or something, it was the middle of winter. And your video actually had more views than any of UNCP's actual official marketing videos. And so I thought, wow, well, this guy, I mean, that's pretty cool that this guy had thousands of views when we couldn't even muster up a couple hundred at the time. And then I stumbled on you again when you were talking about the Mavic Pro and you were doing some of the, I think, the top 10 things that you wish you knew about the Mavic when you first started or something like that. And I thought that was a really cool, interesting video. And not just because I recognized your face, but I recognized your voice because I think that you have a very characteristic, you know, tone of voice and your accent and everything. And I just knew that it was you before I even saw your face. I thought, oh, that's the same guy because I remembered you from the GoPro video. So very cool. And yeah, I've enjoyed your videos too. And you've been posting for a long time. You have a lot of videos. And so that's just really cool. So I enjoy your content as well. And I appreciate you having me on today.
Ed is an up-and-comer, I think. Another reason I'm reaching out to Ed, too, is I think Ed is going to really take off. I see you, and especially the kind of effort you're putting into it and the quality of what you're bringing there. I think you're going to be one of the next really good vloggers. I think we're going to see your subscriber base go way up. And so and I'm not trying to like drag myself into your success, but if I can help in any little way, I'm going to do that. But first of all, you mentioned UNCP. And so I have a list of questions here I wanted to ask you just in very, very, you know, formal interview style, I guess. But let's just, me and you, a couple guys, talk about these things.
Yeah.
You mentioned UNCP. Tell me a little bit about your background. I mean, how you got to where you are. You don't have to start from embryo, but, you know, tell me how you got to doing this today.
Well, so going back even before UNCP, I guess I was living in Aberdeen, North Carolina with my parents at the time, my family and my sister. And that was probably 45 minutes from UNCP. And so UNC Pembroke, University of North Carolina at Pembroke, for those who don't know, was kind of a sensible choice. It was close to home for me to go there. And so that's how I learned a lot of my videography technique was the broadcasting track within mass communications at UNC Pembroke. But even before that, I was interested in video and that sort of thing. And I think that stemmed from maybe when I was a preteen and I was watching Star Wars for the first time and stuff like that. I think Star Wars was probably the first movie that I really got hooked with, the first, trilogy and stuff like that. I was the person who really enjoyed episode 1 because I was young at the time. I had a Jar Jar Binks t-shirt and everything. But, I think that movie still has a special place in my heart just because of that. But I think Star Wars was really the first time that I started to really think about video as in like, man, that'd be really cool to do. It's really cool to be involved with and the process. And so some of my first videos were actually Star Wars based. And so there's actually a couple of videos online, one of which was my most viewed video for 5-6 years. It was called Jed Wars because my friend Joseph and me, Ed, put together this video. So Jed Wars. And so you can actually find that if you search Jed Wars or search my name, Star Wars. You could probably find it. It's back in 2007. So that was my first video of any consequence, was in 2007. But then after I was a student at UNCP, I came back a couple of years later and I worked at UNCP as the marketing videographer there. And so that was a pretty cool perspective too, to see the campus from a different perspective, a staff perspective. But then I most recently quit there and I was doing my own freelance business, Sandhills Videography. Now I had been operating that since 2011, so that kind of took me through my time at UNCP as well, but I just got to the point where I had so much work with freelance, I thought, well, I better focus on something I've created as opposed to, spending more time at the university. I felt like that was my time to kind of leap. So, and then that kind of takes me here to where I am now, and I think I started YouTube again more seriously about a year ago, I would say. In fact, almost exactly a year ago is when I started churning out vlogs and stuff pretty regularly. But back then, I don't think I was quite so focused. I did do some camera reviews and camera videos, but more than anything, I was just putting out daily vlogs, and I wasn't quite seeing so much interaction with the YouTube community in that respect because they just weren't very focused. And so I've seen most of my recent viewership and subscription base go up because of my drone videos and my equipment reviews and my camera demonstrations, editing demonstrations on the computer, things that people can actually watch and gain something out of, helpful stuff, instructional stuff, that sort of thing. So I guess that takes us to where I am today.
Yeah, it's sort of an interesting parallel between where you are now and where I was several years back. I was just sputtering along, not many people watching what I was doing. And then the GoPro Hero 3 came out, and I think I was one of the first people to do a review of the Hero 3. And all of a sudden, 150,000 views on a Hero 3 video, and then, wow, the subscribers start to mount up and everything. So would you say that Mavic is sort of what has pushed you into the mainstream, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, in terms of DJI products and Mavic Pro in general, I think that people have valued my videos because I am helpful, and new flyers, and especially new timer drone flyers, really appreciate watching something that maybe wasn't found in the instruction manual, and maybe that wasn't something that was so intuitive to some people who have just recently picked up their first drone. Now, Tony, I know you have like a Phantom 3 or 4. I can't remember which.
I actually used to fly with or go out with a friend that had a Phantom 3.
Okay.
And so, I've got a Mavic myself. The
okay.
Mavic
so
Pro.
Mavic is your primary drone then at this point?
Yeah, Mavic is my primary drone.
But you had flown previous, just friend. You said friends' drones in college.
Yeah, I've flown there. The Mavic's the first one I've actually owned. So, I made a great choice. I mean, let me ask you this.
The Mavic, your first drone?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's the first one I ever flew, and it's one of the first ones I've ever seen in person. Honestly, I've done a few video gigs here and there where a drone was also part of the shoot, and it was just one of those things. It was off there, and the pilot handled it, and he brought it back down. But yeah, it was the first time with my Mavic when I unboxed it, and I did that video, which, by the way, I flew indoors. My first flight was flying indoors, which is not smart. On less than 20% battery, mind you. So yeah, doubly not smart. But yeah, that was the first time that I had actually held a controller in my hand like that. And so that was really exciting, really nerve-wracking. And I'm sure, Tony, you remember your first flights. That's just a scary time sometimes. I don't know if you've ever flown indoors, but it's not a good idea. Not generally.
Well, but and there are reasons for that. It doesn't match up, triangulate with the satellites and everything. You don't get quite the stability that you get. It's a little crazy.
Right. Well, you know, and a drone, you know, it creates its own wind. So that wind starts bouncing off large tables and chairs, and it starts bouncing off the walls, and then that wind bounces and starts blowing the drone off course because it's not connected to GPS because you're inside. So, yeah, really easy to crash. And my first crash was the night that I first got it, and I have a ding in my wall because I tried to fly it indoors.
Well, let me ask you. So, how has the drone? Again, it's clear you're an awesome videographer, and you get it's this very excellent looking video. The quality of your video is really nice. I watched your gear video, which is, if you've not watched Ed's video about his gear, it's quite enlightening to get to see that how a really up and coming YouTuber or vlogger or just professional videographer is using his gear. But how has the drone changed what you do? I mean, even the way you think about video.
It's definitely added a whole new plane to what we're doing, and I think I don't really notice how much it's changed my perspective until I go back to my older cameras and realize, oh man, I'm on a tripod. This is boring. You know, I took so for instance, I was in California a week and a half ago. And we were flying drones all over the place. I mean, within reason, because we're trying to keep in legality in mind. But I mean, what I'm saying is, wherever we could, we would fly a drone. And then my friend was like, well, Ed, bring out your other camera too. And I was like, I don't really feel like it. Like, this drone is such a cool thing to do. And you can get so much more stuff. And you can fly it 5 feet above the ground if you want. You could do a lot of stuff with a drone that you could also do with a tripoded or handheld camera. You know, as long as you're safe and you stay away from people and you make sure you're not going to damage property. So, you know, I love to fly low, and I love to almost look like it's on a glide cam of some sort. So, you know, I think that that's pretty cool. So in California, I think my best videos were not the handheld shots, they were the drone shots. And I think that there's just a lot more freedom involved with that. So yeah, I guess that's my perspective, but at the same time, you don't want to overdo it. And I don't think that most videos require a lot of drone work. Otherwise you kind of are oversaturating the video with drone. I think you have to find a happy medium between, you know, stuff on the ground, tripoded cameras, and a drone in the air. Cause you can really use a drone too much, and then you're kind of taking away from your production.
There's a shot I want to ask you about. So I watched your Wilmington video, Wilmington highlights, and there's one that looks like it's tracking. Looks like you're really on a dolly, and you're rolling, looks like maybe 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and we're seeing some birds, like sandpipers or something on the sand. Was that shot with a Mavic? Yeah. So that entire video was shot with a Mavic, and the birds really didn't mind it so much. You know, I actually got pretty close. They were walking away, but they weren't flying away. I was kind of impressed that the birds were taking it so well. Now, there were some birds by the pier that were in, like, they were all together and flying very violently around. And there was actually a person there. I'm not sure what the term for a scientist who studies birds is, but ornithologist or something. Yeah.
But he was out there, and he actually walked up to me. He's like, you know what? I think they're doing that because they're trying to challenge your drone, or trying to, you know, basically, you know, not challenge it, but rather more of a defensive nature, but showing, you know, we're in a group, you know, we can protect ourselves, like, don't mess with us. I think they were, you know, somehow defensive, you know, in relation to the drone. I thought that was pretty interesting. So it does affect some birds, I suppose.
Well, you know, this is the thing that I find interesting, is that Mavic, I mean, let's face it, when it's 50, 60 feet away from you, you can still hear it buzzing. You get up 100 feet, if you're listening for it, you know it's there. If you're flying 150, 200 feet, nobody even knows it's there. I mean, it's like, you know, with this regular ambient noise around, nobody even seems to care. I have had birds fly up to it, you're right. I mean, horses, I flew across a field with horses. Horses just peep at it a little bit, you know, no big deal. It's not the kind of thing that seems to bother anything, which is awesome. It's awesome to know that you're not really harassing anything. And once you're up to a certain level, it's almost like it's a stealth drone in a way. And I don't mean that in like a sneaky way. I mean, it's kind of cool, because you don't want video of people standing around looking, oh, look at that, you know. And you would get that with a Phantom 3. It made enough noise.
Oh, really?
That, you'd see people once in a while looking up, oh, look at that, there's a drone.
Do you think it's the shape of the propellers, or do you think it's the motor, or just because it's a heavier drone?
I can just tell you that it's a little louder. It's a good bit louder, the Phantom 3, and the Mavic seems to be quieter, and it's that gray thing. It's small. It's, you know, it's what, 1.6 pounds with a battery on it. Wow, you know.
Yeah.
So this is very cool. Let me ask you this. So I want to go into a little bit. I don't want to just stick on the drones. I want to talk about just YouTube in general. Tell me about your influences. I mean, what have you've talked about Star Wars, but like from a vlogging point of view, who do you watch that kind of, I don't know, inspires you?
Well, and I made a list, actually, so I wouldn't forget anybody, because I saw your question beforehand. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, there are 5 main ones that I've really been enjoying so far in the last year or so. First one's Devin Graham, or Devin Supertramp by his more popular YouTube channel. And he is the guy that incorporates your handheld, your GoPro, your drone, and whatever else, 360 gear, any type of new camera. This guy's probably shot with it and made an epic video. He does travel videos, he does travel vlogs, and he also does commercial product videos and that sort of thing. And it's just fun. It's fun stuff. And to watch and to study what he does, and to see that he always incorporates people smiling and people laughing and interacting. And even though it might be a video about something that could be boring otherwise, he has personal interaction and kind of shows that if you're watching, you know, pay attention, because these people are too. You know, it's a big deal. You know, everyone, look at all these people. He's showing people with their phones up, you know, like filming people who are filming it as if, yeah, it's that big of a deal, you know? And I think that that's a really interesting way of filming, is incorporating even bystanders into a type of video like that. So I always enjoyed him. Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link, or Rhett and Link's YouTube channel in general. Those are 2 guys I don't even... Do you know about them, Rhett and Link?
No, this is awesome. It's awesome I'm hearing this from you.
Yeah.
These are people to check out right away.
Well, they're from North Carolina, from Fuquay Varina. And then the last probably 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5, they moved to LA and they've been operating out of there. But they have 10 plus, maybe 15 plus million subscribers on YouTube. And they've been going at it ever since... Wow. YouTube's been around. And they actually came to UNC Pembroke and they did this performance. They do song and jokes and stuff, but they also have this show called Good Mythical Morning, and it's just every weekday. This is a really, really fun 15-minute or so YouTube video. And Unbox Therapy, which I didn't ever used to watch unboxing videos very much, but then I realized that as I'm starting to do product reviews and drone reviews and cameras and stuff, that's part of it, is the unboxing experience and what do you get in the package, and well, let's do a quick review. So ever since I started doing that, I realized, yeah, actually unboxing videos, you can at least learn stuff from them, even if you're not interested in the product. How do people who have gained such a following and been doing it for 7-8 years unbox something? You know, you can learn from that. So Unbox Therapy with Lou is a really awesome video, and you know, he'll make any product look interesting to you. Casey Neistat, I'm sure you know about Casey Neistat. Everyone does. And he's actually one of my original influences on how to even start a vlog and why I would start a vlog. You know, he's an interesting guy because his life is interesting, but also he makes it interesting. Even if something interesting wasn't happening in a particular day for him, he will find a way to inject creativity.
He'll just grab a marker and a piece of poster board and start writing things on it, and that just those little insets like that. The fact that he's got the Godfather playing eternally on the screen behind him. I mean, there's just little things there that just fascinate you. It's almost like you've entered like Mr. Bill's world or something. It's like Casey Neistat's world to see him inside his little habitat there, and then the way he interacts with people.
Some people call him the grandfather of vlogging. I think vlogging has been older than how he's been doing it in terms of daily. But if you look at some of his older videos from 2007, 2006, or even in the past when he had tape cameras and he was doing this type of video, yeah, he's really got it going. And my last one was Malin Darris. And he's more of a, his subscription base is a lot less in terms of everyone else's, but he's one of my inspirations because he's an inspirational talker and not just motivational, but, you know, everything from business and entrepreneurship to just learning how to think throughout the day and how to stay positive and stuff. And he tells a lot of stories about his life and how he got to where he was looking back. And it's just really, really cool. And so he actually was partially my inspiration for actually gaining the courage to quit UNC Pembroke and to actually work for myself. He made a video called How to Quit Your Job or something, or maybe something a little more detailed than that. And he basically, you know, went through the steps of how you need to do it right so that you don't ever have to do it again. You know, he said basically if you quit the wrong way, then you're going to fail and eventually have to get a regular old job again and then have to go through that whole process of trying to, you know, get back to be able to quit and work for yourself again sometime down the road. So he was a really big inspiration for me starting vlogs, but also for me having the courage to quit my day job, essentially.
Let me this brings up a good question. Okay, here I am. So I'm an older guy, stuck in healthcare marketing. You know, I don't even care if anyone sees me saying this from where I work. So I've been in healthcare marketing now for like 16, 17 years. And, you know, basically my job is to make one hospital look better than another or one healthcare system look better than another. When maybe they may or may not be, but you know, it's a lot of PR. It's a lot of just getting the word out to doctors. And you know, I do aspire to do what you're doing. So let me just ask you, give us I don't know, you could talk for probably an hour about this, but a brief overview of what the challenges are, jumping into what you're doing. You know, what kind of courage did that take to go out and try to be a professional videographer?
Part of that was it felt better because I had been working Sandhills Videography, my business, since 2011. So that was shortly after I graduated from college. And I had sent out like 50 or 60 resumes back in 2011, but didn't really hear back from any of them, and I didn't really press it further. So I ended up working at a grocery store that I had worked at that point already 4 or 5 years. It took me through college. So starting Sandhills Videography had always been sort of a part-time thing on the side. And then if I worked part-time at the grocery store, I could consider myself full-time at Sandhills Videography. So it wasn't, I guess, the first time, but it was, I just had to make sure I wasn't letting go of something that I would regret later on. Because there is something to be said for having a salary and for having benefits. And, you know, I knew that I'd be throwing away part of my retirement because I wasn't vested. And so there were a lot of things that I had to weigh to see if that was going to be worth it. But I realized, well, my time and my happiness, not that I was unhappy, but rather I'm happiest when I'm working for myself and doing something for myself. Not selfishly, but rather just, you know, I can create something and call it my own. I really feel best that way. Yes. And I'm proud that way. I have the most pride in my work when that happens. So I think that it was time to do it, and it felt good. So I didn't really have so much fear at that point. Plus, I just made sure that I had a lot of my ducks lined up, and I knew that I was quitting right. And to be honest, and I can say this, I had thought about quitting a year ago before that, and a semester before that, and, you know, a couple months before that, and I realized, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And so when I was ready is when it happened. So it felt good.
Does the work come to you? Do you go to the work? What's that balance of going to, I guess, selling yourself versus just people word of mouth hearing about you or seeing your ads? Or, I mean, how does it balance out that way?
Usually it's word of mouth is the most valuable advertisement in this line of work, because I have done some more traditional advertisement, phone book and magazines and other publications. And I never really seen, and like decals on my car, didn't really ever see a whole lot of, come back at me from those particular avenues of advertising. Usually it was Facebook and the website and word of mouth, And Facebook and word of mouth is kind of interchangeable. I mean, you have your Facebook page, which you can advertise, and that's great. Post all your videos, post your demos, and post your contact info. Make sure you're searchable. But then also on Facebook is when you can post videos that people can share. Like if you film a wedding, well, make a small highlight video of it, and then that bride is going to share it all around to all her friends, and then before we know it, you're going to have a couple thousand views, and all of it ends with, you know, for more information, contact, you know, such and such. So that, I think, Facebook is probably one of the main ways that I advertise and I seem to get clientele from in the last couple of years.
Awesome. You know, people don't think about the power of Facebook in that regard. You're right. If you can share very impressive little snippets of video and then promote yourself there. Now, I have not done that myself, but I see people doing it, and I think, wow, yeah, I mean, Facebook, because it serves it up automatically, and people just scrolling through and they're going to see it. You know, they're not automatically going to find you like on YouTube, but they will on Facebook. It's like it's there in your face. You see it. Wow, looks interesting. I'm going to click on it. You know. Yeah.
And then of course there's Snapchat and Instagram and stuff. And I'm not sure if that translates so well to video, just because of the type. I mean, I know Instagram does. You can post videos on there, but it doesn't seem like it's quite geared toward what I do so much. But maybe for vlogging and that sort of thing, and a YouTuber though, I think Snapchat, you can really help your following and maybe get a little more subscription base and get more and get yourself in front of more eyes that way through some of those social medias that are a little more non-traditional. I think that the younger generation is really latching on, or has been latching on, to Instagram, and then Snapchat and some of those others. So yeah, Facebook definitely has its place, and I think it's just interesting to see how we can maybe look at those newer social medias or those social medias with different demographic, because you can kind of get lost in it too. You know, for me, I think I'm of the younger, but still like the very edge of the Facebook demographic. And I think when you're talking about people coming into their early 20s or into their late teens or even early teens, it's not so much Facebook anymore. I think they're kind of moving to other things.
Facebook is where a lot of the people with the money is, though, which is a cool thing.
That is true. But yeah, YouTube. I mean, I think we're all in a good place. Having fun with YouTube. I think that's a place that all generations can enjoy.
What do you think defines good content on YouTube? I mean, when you're making a video, what do you think is going to make it interesting?
You know, like what would I want to watch? And I know what I watch. I mean, I listed my 5 top favorite YouTube channels, and I know why I like them. And so I think, well, would I watch my videos if I was not me who made them?
I watch my videos if I were me.
yeah, exactly. And that goes for everything. I mean, you know, I know you're a musician, and if you make music that someone else told you to make instead of music that came from your heart, well, you probably wasn't listening to it yourself. I mean, there are songs that I'm sure you've written and videos that you've made that you actually do watch, a year later and just kind of enjoy and sit back and say, that was a lot of fun and that was actually a really good experience and I did a really good job with that. So those are the types of things that I think I try to make is something that I'd be proud of and I would actually want to watch myself. And that could be anything from being funny, genuinely funny as opposed to forcing it, or just being creative and thinking a little outside the box and not just starting every video the same way and ending the video the same way. That's the biggest thing there. Oh, and keeping them fresh and making sure you don't draw things out and talk too much like I'm sure I am right now.